Welcome back to Ready, Set, Sold. I'm your host, Bryan Vogt. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend, that you are bundled up, or if you're not bundled up in your house, maybe by the fireplace, that's cool. Or maybe you're out returning some Christmas gifts that maybe either you received or someone else received that you're taking back, or maybe you're just going out shopping, taking advantage of the sales that are going out there. Or, you know what, maybe you're just out having some fun. Whatever that is, thank you so much for being with us. Do appreciate it. Just another reminder, everything we do is put onto a podcast, and you can find it by going to iTunes or Google Play. And they are actually said exactly what a segment is going to be. You can listen to a whole show, or you can do it in segments. If there's something that you may have missed, it's not that we don't want you here every Saturday morning between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., but life does happen, and sometimes you miss something. So this is a way that you can go back and get the information you need. And you can tell others, too. And please, I hope you do. That maybe they don't get a chance to listen to the radio, but you can tell others where they can get the information. But also you have the advantage of also getting the book and letting people know about that. And the book I wrote was a #1 bestseller called Ready, Set, Sold, 12 Proven Steps to Get Your Home Sold for Top Dollar in a Fast Sale in the St. Louis Metro East. So that's absolutely free. So hopefully people are taking advantage. A lot of people have. So we thank you for that. We hope it's worked out well for them. And if you haven't, even if you're not selling in the wintertime, maybe you're thinking about the spring or the summertime, or maybe this time next year. Whatever it is, it's information you can use now or later if you need be to get basically to have a smooth transaction, to make it easy, to have confidence. That's what we hear mostly from our sellers that have gotten the book, that they feel more comfortable. They kind of understand the steps they're going to need to know. Many of these things are things that sellers kind of know anyway, but many of the things they don't know. And those are things that can create problems for our sellers, and we've seen that in the past too. So we want that to happen to you. With that said, we're going to be talking, again, more about the winter months as far as selling in the winter months. And I think the thing that you really want to keep, that I can't stress enough, is this business is supply and demand. We talked about it a little earlier in the show, but just to kind of emphasize it more. Supply and demand. That is real estate in a nutshell. So if simple numbers, if you have one house and you have 10 buyers, guess what? Your house not only is going to be selling fast, but it's going to be selling for definitely top dollar. On the same token, if you have 10 houses and one buyer, well, that's going to have a dramatic effect also. So that's why when I talk about the winter months, it can be such a strong indicator as far as getting success in the winter months of getting your house sold for top dollar and fast sale, is knowing what's going on. And hopefully that is going to be your agent. What is currently on the market, or what, more importantly, has sold in the last 3 months. Why that comes into play is we've had sellers that have put their house, and they were the only house in their whole subdivision. This happened to be a fairly large subdivision in O'Fallon. Well, guess what? Since they were the only one, and it was a very desirable location, and they priced it for that location, of course they had the updates done with the painting, with the carpeting. They made sure that the kitchens, bathrooms were all in good shape. And they had tremendous success. And I do mean tremendous success. They got, actually, in this situation, they got exactly what they were asking for, and they got it in a very short period of time. So again, you can have that same success too if that's the direction you want to go. And maybe it's not, and that's okay. But let's talk about some of the other things we mentioned before about the pricing that comes into play that people are very concerned about. It doesn't mean that it never happens, that pricing isn't a little bit lower. But again, many times that can happen in any market, in any of the seasons. It just isn't just the winter time. So when you have an experienced agent, hopefully they can explain that to you. Those things can happen at any time for various reasons. But even if it does, many sellers, we were just talking to some sellers I was talking to that moved back. This was actually maybe 2 years ago now. And when it was all said and done, when they moved, they were thinking about waiting till the spring and actually considering the summer. But even though it wasn't quite, it was still top dollar, but it wasn't quite as much as they wanted. When they start putting the numbers together in the day, as far as the monthly expense, and so now you have a situation where it could be up to $2,000, $1,500 a month that you are paying for your taxes and your insurance and your HOAs and the list of other things, just maintenance items, just day-to-day things that we don't even think about. That they were far, far, far better as far as pricing of waiting that 6 months when you combine that's $12,000 just roughly. And not only were they happy as far as when it comes down to the monies that they actually did make versus waiting, but my gosh, they were done. They'd sold the house, and so they were really excited about that. So again, it doesn't mean that January or February or that is guaranteed that you'll always get a price that you're looking for. But it's important to understand as sellers that can happen in any season. And I think last week we talked about the season is not the reason why your house isn't selling or you're not having that success. Again, if you're not having the success that you think you should be having, you need to be having a conversation with your agent and kind of going a little bit deeper what's going on, what you need to do, or what the agent you may feel needs to do, whatever someone needs to do to get this house moving and getting people in there and ultimately getting a successful contract in, a successful offer to get you where you want to go. With that said, we're going to be talking, the tip of the week is going to be the next segment, something you really want to stay tuned to. I think it's something that most sellers don't know about. There's a few do, but I don't think most sellers know about, and you want to stay tuned for the tip of the week. With that, I will see you in the shark queue. I'm your host, Bryan Vogt. You listen to Ready, Set, Sell.